Hey guys, good to see a few of you already in the chat. So yeah, we'll give it a few minutes till people get on, and then we get going. Yo Don, how you doing, bro? It's okay. Had a death in the family yesterday, but yeah, that's life. When old season, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. See how it goes. But yeah, thanks for coming by. Before we start, big shout out to Bybit for sponsoring the show. Really appreciate their support. Their links are in the description if you do want to check them out. And yeah, that's that. Sorry for your loss. Had one here on Xmas Day. Yeah, my what do you say in English? My condolences. So yeah, some crazy price action happening on Bitcoin, which is basically just straight up, as you can see on the weekly chart. I mean, there's only been 2 red weeks, and those have been tiny. So yeah, Bitcoin's been doing all right, and the altcoins in turn have been doing pretty damn poorly. So we'll talk about both, where I feel like that trend is gonna stop or might reverse and that kind of stuff. So yeah, lots to talk about. But yeah, before we kind of go into the altcoins, we can go into Bitcoin real quick. I mean, I've been saying for weeks now, my Bitcoin analysis has been really boring for weeks now, based on the fact that I've been saying that doesn't make much sense to be bearish. Well, it's just going straight up, right? So you wait for support to get lost, and then you get bearish, something like that. And I mean, that's still the same, right? High time frames, the monthly, still crazy bullish. The weekly, still crazy bullish. The daily, still crazy bullish, right? So there's not really too much to say about Bitcoin. It's just one of these things where, I mean, we have an infinite bid going on pretty much on Coinbase. So it's, yeah, it's pretty hard for bears to kind of put in some pullbacks. The one problematic thing with that is that we're going into parabola territory again, which, I mean, I've gone through before. That's kind of why I've been so chill on the Bitcoin front, because when you've gone through this before, you kind of know how to act. And I mean, we've gone through this kind of like parabola before. This is pretty damn steep, in my opinion. So there's gonna be at some point a correction again. It's just a question of when. When does the infinite bid stop? And I don't have an answer to that. Like, the moment everyone that wants Bitcoin is filled on Coinbase, we're gonna correct pretty big, I think. But I have no idea when that's gonna be. So I'm just chilling. I don't really see much reason to get overly aggressive. And that view of mine on Bitcoin kind of translates to the altcoins, right? So I've been bearish the altcoin Bitcoin pairs for forever. Feeling quite vindicated now. But yeah. In general, before we jump to the altcoins, on the Bitcoin chart, what would have to happen for altcoins to do well, right? This parabolic rise would have to stop. There's no real reason to jump into altcoins when you're making parabolic gains on Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin's got way less risk. Bitcoins in general, I mean, it's a household name by now. Everyone knows it. So this, like, holding Bitcoin is much easier than holding altcoins. So I don't expect the capital, Jesus, that word, capital rotation to come in before Bitcoin kind of chills out, right? And that could happen here, that could happen at 30, that could happen at 40. I have no idea, right? So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Someone in the chat asked about whether that correction is going to be 40% again. Not entirely sure. Generally speaking, these kind of corrections, like inside the parabola, have been 40%, right? So all these kind of corrections in the parabola have been 40%. The correction off of the parabola in the past has usually been 80%. So that's been the correction once the parabola breaks, right? And I mean, if you could go back in history a little bit more, even more, once these parabolas break, they like to go down like 80%. Does that still have to happen? Obviously not, right? Could have changed. That's just what has happened in the past. Had a parabola here from below 100 all the way to 1000. China bubble basically, and then 80% drawdown into the next one, 80% down into the next. So where is this gonna stop? And is it gonna correct like that again? I have no idea. But so 40% retracements normal in the bull market? Yeah. In Bitcoin bull markets, yes. So far we haven't had one. I think in large thanks to these Coinbase bids that just refill and refill and refill. Because if you have a buyer there, right? Like if you just have something I've always said, right? I mean, you can have the prettiest charts. If someone really wants to get out of something or into something, those charts, at least the levels and everything on the chart, is not going to matter too much. So, I mean, as long as there's an infinite bid on Coinbase and someone tries to get filled all the time, it's just not going to go down. And once that person is filled, or these persons or these institutions or whoever it is, there's a possibility of a pullback. But who knows how deep their pockets are, right? If you zoom out enough, you can see that we've always been in the bull market. Yeah, I mean, that's Bitcoin's history in a nutshell. The first time I've seen Bitcoin was at $1. It's now trading at 28,700. So, yeah. 50% correction, 15% corrections this time. I mean, that's what we've had, yeah. I mean, I'd say there has not been a correction besides this one. Which, I mean, that was basically last time I was like, okay, I'm going to short this because it looks pretty bad. And then I shorted it, got out. Didn't get bullish enough, but still at least didn't get bearish the entire way up. But that was the last correction that we've had. So Cred bought the top. Yeah, he bought the top and then sold high up. That's how bull markets go. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. And like I said, I don't think you want to be too deep in altcoins while this goes on, right? Because it's obvious that while this is going on, you're not going to get not going to get people too excited in the altcoins because they've just been dumping. The moment this stops, however, that's where we could get altcoin party, and that would have to look like. I mean, I'm gonna not draw it on the chart because every time I do, people think I'm making predictions, but when you get this parabolic rise, right? You don't want to be in altcoins here. You don't want to be in altcoins here. And funnily enough, even if like this crashes, you don't want to be in altcoins here. Because I mean, you're going to get rolled over hard if you're chilling in altcoins while Bitcoin is putting in a high. Because I mean, if you look back in history, how has Bitcoin looked at the top? I mean, here it just accelerated and then just mega dumped. And that obviously had a big impact on the altcoins. They dumped just as hard. And then you look back here, for example, like these dumps are pretty violent, right? And if you're just sitting there in altcoins, you're going to get rolled over too. So what I think, and I mean, this doesn't have to happen. It's just what I think. And so far it's done me well to kind of expect this is I'm not going to buy altcoins this entire way up with my Bitcoin anyway. I'm going to wait for Bitcoin to massively correct. And then I'm going to try to buy here, which is basically what you're gonna see in these kind of situations is a bounce, and then the altcoins just outperform. It's how it's happened in the past multiple times. I've played this before. I'm gonna play it again. If it doesn't play out, I mean, so be it. But yeah, that's how I usually play the altcoins, and have been playing the altcoins for long enough that I know that this isn't really the place to buy. Like, a lot of people are like, okay, Bitcoin's topped, or like Bitcoin's going up really hard. I'm just gonna buy altcoins because they're gonna go up harder than Bitcoin. It's not how it usually goes. Altcoins rallied hard in January 2018 while Bitcoin dumped. They didn't rally on the first leg though. Like, that's the thing. If you look back in history, and I mean, this is not true for every single altcoin, but this leg here wiped out a shitload of people, including altcoin holders. There were different drops, like this drop and this drop, that were different. But even this, like at the end of it, altcoins started dumping. But the first one is not really the one that you want to be positioned in altcoins. It doesn't have to play out the same way again, obviously. I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to see the same thing again, just based on the fact that, it just doesn't make sense to always expect everything to play out one-to-one the same. I'm just expecting it to play out relatively similar. What Bitcoin level would you enter? Altcoins at 20k support. The thing is, right, this could go parabolic to 40k, and then expecting 20k is kind of big deal, right? So depends on where Bitcoin's topping out, right? It's not something that you can kind of say in advance, because, like, let's say this parabola goes on and on and on, and it just keeps going up. I'm not gonna be the one that is positioning myself just based on now. I'm gonna wait what happens, see, and then make my decisions. Bitcoin destroying sell walls right now. Yeah, it's going up pretty nicely. Okay, I think that's enough with Bitcoin. Like I said, there's not really much reason to change strategy. Strategy's been working, and the strategy has been just chill. Be happy that Bitcoin's going up, make money while not having to do too much. And then the one outlier to the altcoins that have been doing poorly is ETH. Let's talk about ETH real quick, because ETH's not been doing too poorly if you consider that Bitcoin's put in a massive run, right? Yes, the monthly chart looks kind of scuffed. This is not too pretty. But considering that this has played out while Bitcoin went from 4K to 28K, this is mighty impressive. This is pretty much the Bitcoin run, like one-to-one. ETH's even outperformed it by a little bit, right? So ETH's not, like, I wouldn't be too bearish on ETH in general. I'm just not too bullish on ETH while Bitcoin's just making the sun run, right? On the Bitcoin pair, obviously. The USD pair, if Bitcoin goes up, ETH USD is going to go up as well. But the Bitcoin pair, I mean, so far, bearish retest here, and so far, support's not holding. We're going to wait and see how this changes. Like, if today and tomorrow kind of goes back above this green line, I'm thinking ETH is going to massively outperform again. If that doesn't happen, it's just not going to change my strategy. But yeah, I'd love to see ETH close back above this green level. I mean, optimally, it would close back above this red box, but that seems a little bit far-fetched, right? So for me, I'm hoping we kind of make it back above green. And that would be enough for me to kind of start getting positions and hope for an ETH outperform of Bitcoin. So far, in comparison to other altcoins, ETH looks really strong. In comparison to Bitcoin, ETH doesn't. I mean, if you just compare to, like, we've done this multiple times now. So we've had a top here, then broke down below support, retested it as resistance, and I mean, you can even do this. it's a pretty nice retest, right? So retested it as resistance, and now we've retested this as resistance again. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. I don't think it makes much sense to position myself aggressively in ETH with Bitcoin, because so far, like, the minimum requirement for me to be bullish Bitcoin, to be bullish ETH against Bitcoin is this reclaim. And if it does so, good stuff. I think there's going to be a play there. And I mean, the kind of room that you have if this happens, excuse my jumping back and forth. I mean, there's quite a bit of room to go from here. And I mean, you can see how this is resistance from here to, or like even from here to up here. If it does go back there, I mean, even from here to here, that'd be a pretty nice move, right? So I don't mind ETH, it's just not there for me yet. So that's kind of my view on it. ATH prepping for blow off. I mean, I'd say like that is something that I haven't mentioned. I did mention it actually. I think the parabolishness of this move. Like that's been like, we haven't had any pullbacks yet. There's a good chance that like the moment we start breaking support, this breaks down massively. There's also a good chance whenever you have these kind of moves, these parabolas, that at the last kind of thing, the last incline, it just goes even more crazy than the ones that we've had before. So could put in a blow off. I have no idea where that goes. I think in general, how this kind of move, or like how you can kind of see when the bearishness is going to creep in, is when you kind of look at the last impulse start, like has been here, goes up. Now it's been this. Like if you start trading back below there, and you can go back and do this for pretty much the entire move. Like you had an impulse move start here. If it goes back below there, it's probably going to pull back. Same thing here. And then, I mean, same thing here on any of these really. Same thing here. You could do this forever, right? There's not been any kind of market structure break. This has just been straight up. So in my opinion, if this gets lost again, then you can kind of start looking for hedges or for anything of that sort. Until that happens, I don't see much reason to be like super bearish. Hope that helps. There's a bearish divergence on Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, like you said, if it does lose 26, I think there's going to be a pullback. But I don't really see much reason to be too aggressive into the highs. Even more so, like I said, I'm kind of busy in real life, and I can't really take much trades into the New Year's anyway, because of not want to deal with. I don't want to deal with like carrying trades across years. That always sucks tax wise. Is it weird that I read your tweets in your voice? No, I don't think so. But with regards to voice, someone commented on Kret's video this Monday, that he likes Kret's voice better than mine. And yeah, that hurt. I cried for like half an hour at least. What a weird comment to make. I just had to laugh. Don, where would you buy spot? I wouldn't. I would like, this breaks down 80%, like it has in the, like I think this bull market is pretty much going. If this breaks down 80%, I'm gonna buy spot. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna hold what I have, and I'm fine with that. Like if it does the same thing that we've seen before, or if this parabola breaks down, we retrace 40%. I could see myself get a little, but like a big spot position that I restart building, I don't really see the point. Like I have to see a massive correction for that. I'm more than happy with what I have. So yeah, like I have no idea where a safe spot buy here is, other than okay, massive crash, because I usually buy massive crashes. And if it doesn't crash, like just buying into rallies like this, not my thing. Would you invest now? Nope. But then again, I've said the same thing at like 14K, and it's now doubled since then. So, I mean, that kind of stuff, like I'm just trading this stuff. And I'm more than fine with doing so. Not the best investor, for sure. Like this stuff is just going crazy. And when it goes crazy, I just let it go crazy. Don, when you gonna sing for us? I never promised this. This is a lie. This is a lie. It's never gonna happen. But yeah, that's Bitcoin. I think it's pretty straightforward, really. Like, don't expect supports to break until they break, and when they break, have a plan for what to do after. Because a lot of people are gonna scramble if a support breaks. But so far, there's not been one, so it's not much of a reason to panic, right? Back to ETH. So yeah. So far, just a downtrend, right? This is just a downtrend. And I think like if Bitcoin does this and then puts in a blow off top, ETH does this and then puts in a washout. So be prepared for that. I think that would be the time to buy. If you get any kind of buy like wiping into here, which I know is quite far away and it's probably not going to hit. But if it does hit, I think that's an interesting kind of area where I'd be interested in buying again. Do it with you and Cred. I mean, he just commented sing alright, so I mean, now he's on the hook. So yeah. Altcoin sentiment update, please. Yeah, so the altcoins, I think people are starting to realize, oh fuck, I'm all in altcoins and I'm not getting any of this rally. Because like, with like the exception of ETH, right, which has been going up a lot against USD. If you look at other altcoins, even the ones that are really liked, Nano, for example, let's look at Nano against USD. You've missed the entire rally. Like, it's not done anything, really. So you're all in into this coin, and the entire rally that we've had has just gone by you, and you've not had any kind of gains from that. And then you look at Link, one of the most, like, everyone was talking about Link. And then you look at it and you realize that at least the last half leg of this entire rally hasn't been, like, Link hasn't had any kind of fun in this. Link's been going down against USD even since August. And if you look at it against Bitcoin, you can kind of see why I've been warning about any positions on the long side in Link against Bitcoin. Because really, like, when you have something like this, there's no, like, how does this end, right? How does this kind of thing end? It always ends in a washout, right? And so far, this is the acceleration. So we're putting in a little bit of a capitulation against Bitcoin. My issue with this is, and I mean, we could be finding the bottom for Link Bitcoin here, but we would have to wash out the USD peeps as well, right? So while Link's not moving, people get angry, and then they're like, okay, I'm waiting for Bitcoin to kind of put in the top so Link can go up afterwards. But what happens instead is Link against dollar dumps. This is something that has happened before multiple times in my trading history of cryptocurrencies, is that you get people frustrated by doing this against USD, but they're not really, like, they're not feeling the pain. They're just like, I'm losing my Bitcoin, but I'm not, I can still justify it. And then Bitcoin drops, and then suddenly against USD, it washes out. And then the Bitcoin pair might have bottomed already, but it still washes out against USD while Bitcoin is washing out, right? So that's kind of what I'm expecting for Link. I don't know where the Link Bitcoin bottom is. I just think there's no real reason why this should reverse while Bitcoin is still going up. ETH is a little bit different. ETH has had buyers, Link has had none. So That's kind of my view on this, and it's my view on most of the altcoins. The ones that I've been most bullish on, and I mean that kind of shows you a little bit of my bias, is Litecoin. And the reason for that is because it's been correlated with Bitcoin. Whenever Bitcoin went up, Litecoin went up. That's why I wanted to have Litecoin. But even that, like, I've closed the position, and even that cannot keep up with Bitcoin anymore. So like the Litecoin people are starting to feel the heat on the Bitcoin pair. And then the moment they start feeling the heat on the USD pair, when Bitcoin tops, eventually, that's where I think you're going to get good buys. And I think that's when you're going to get, like, that's where your opportunity lies. I've gone through that cycle before. It's changed my life for the better. So I'm hoping that I can do it again. Just do the same kind of cycle again. Sit in Bitcoin, chill, wait for it to top out, wait for it to drop, and then go heavy into altcoins. It's happened before. I hope it happens again. And I think if you kind of get that situation going, that's where you can kind of make a shitload of money, right? So that's what we all want. And that's kind of what I'm waiting for. The position that I absolutely do not want to put myself in is buying these altcoins too early and then having to make hard choices when they really start dumping. Because, I mean, this might be painful, but it's not this. I don't want to have to be the guy that makes tough choices in here. I want to be the guy that is euphoric here while it goes up. So that's kind of my view on the altcoins. In general, I think that's the safest way to approach them. You're not going to miss out too much if you're a little bit cautious, I think. I mean, being cautious has paid off for the last 3 years. But then again, like the moment you see the conditions for altcoins better, I think that's when you go hard, and that's when I'm going to go hard. I think we're closing in. Like I'm starting to feel like that's actually a good possibility. I just want to see some more pain. And I know I've been saying this for years, but I mean, it's been playing out, right? So it's been correct. It's just taken longer than I thought it would. Could you please let me know what a good Litecoin USD target would be when a massive retrace? I have no idea. Like, I'm not going to be the guy that buys Litecoin with USD. I'm going to be buying it with Bitcoin. That's why the Bitcoin pair is more important to me. But, I mean, that's been pretty nice, right? It's kind of when we longed Litecoin. Went up quite a bit. But in general, like the Litecoin USD target that I think would make sense. And that's the problem, right? This could keep going up with Bitcoin for a while, and then the Litecoin target would change, right? But I like at this moment, where would I want to like be interested in Litecoin again? I think this is the area. So if it starts dropping below 100 again, I think a lot of people are going to be bearish. And that's where opportunity is. But then again, like depends on the Bitcoin retrace, right? It depends on how deep that goes. There's no rush. Like if I see it slice through there, I'm not gonna get discouraged and just look for lower. Do you think setting bids at ridiculously low prices can work? It's worked multiple times before. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. If you have money lying around on an exchange and you like your coin, it's definitely a good idea to have some stink bids somewhere where you don't think they're going to get filled. Because if you get filled, you're going to have a good position. And if you don't, and if it just starts bleeding into, like, let's say for Litecoin, you have a bid at $78 or something. And if it starts bleeding out, you could delete that, right? But if it just does some weird stuff and just dips into that, it's no way that that's going to maintain and it's going to go back up, right? So you get filled way below price. And that's something that sushi holders, for example, have been very fortunate about. If you look at the chart. Here, you get instantly filled and then you're in from way below price. So, I mean, definitely not a bad idea, in my opinion. Shorting XRP, no. Can't really keep trades across the year. So sadly not one that I've been. I mean, I think it's like I'd reason why I'd be in Link, and not Link, but same for Link. Why I'd be for in XRP, because really they have a blade dangling above their neck. Like this is a bad situation. Like the crypto people kind of underestimate how bad this is. There could be short squeezes. I think there's gonna be short squeezes at some point, just because I mean the short's been getting really aggressive lately. But I don't really want to touch this. Just rather on the ones that are actually moving positively. Notice Mike is cutting, not just you. Oh shit. Yeah, you guys should have said something earlier. I think I'm losing some packets actually. But yeah, might be, I don't know. The network in my city is pretty bad. Like I've already got the best I can and it's still pretty bad, but I'm moving anyway, so hope it gets better at the new place. Yeah, stream kept cutting out for a second. Thought it was just me, dude. I hate when that happens. So yeah, sorry if there's any issues. So yeah, I feel like there's some issue with the stream going on. Just gonna have to bear it, I guess. It's a network issue in my entire city. So, yep, whatever. I'll just continue on, and then I don't know. We'll hope it goes away. Hi Don, other than you and Cred, what other educators or materials do you recommend learning from? Learning from, I think the best that you can get is Cred. It's just how it is. Don't think there's much of a need to go anywhere else. Other educators, I don't even know. I'm not really too in tune with that side of things. Like I just hang with the traders. So I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, let's click. Like I said, don't really see much reason for. Why don't you buy with strength? Only you buy with the blood and the weakness. I don't buy weakness. I just like to buy blood in general. And I mean, the thing is with like the thing that most people don't understand that are trading crypto nowadays is you don't have to be overly leveraged during a crazy run. Like this run is insane, right? And if you have Bitcoin, you're making good money. So why put yourself through like longing this 10x or whatever, being afraid of getting completely wrecked on anything if you can just chill out and enjoy the gains? I mean, if you get a good setup and if you're like a person that can just like that has a trading style that kind of supports that trading, go ahead, right? But mine doesn't. Like, I buy support, and I don't really like this kind of trading. Whenever Bitcoin does this, I just enjoy the gains and let other people do the work for me. And when Bitcoin is ranging, doing this, or doing something like this is where I get active and then increase what I have and then enjoy it even more when it goes back up. It's kind of how I do these things. I know it's not like how most people do it. It's just where I find, like, where I'm most comfortable in. I'm good at selling into something like this, and I'm good into buying into something like this. I'm not good at longing this. Like, there's not a good setup for me there. I don't have to. I'm much more happy just doing these. And I mean, I've played every single one of these big moves here, and even this one. Just there's not been anything particularly actionable other than just market longing blindly, which, I mean, to be fair, has been working really, really well. I feel like we're gone again. I don't know. This is annoying. This is annoying. No issues before. Hopefully it stays like this. Yeah, I hope so too. I don't know if you guys heard what I was saying, but I mean, for me, I just like these. I like to buy Bitcoin when it looks like it's dying, and I like to sell Bitcoin when it looks like it's going to infinity. That's how I trade Bitcoin. So, like, there's not much reason to kind of go all in leverage where you can get shaken out in these moves when you can just be happy that you have it. I mean, I've played this move the exact same way. I mean, you're exposed to Bitcoin. I was all in Bitcoin at that point. Not quite from there, a little bit higher up. But yeah, I was all in Bitcoin, rode this thing the most of the way anyway, and then played the altcoins. And then it's capital and Bitcoin preservation mode until the next kind of rally comes in. And then you just wait for it to look dead again. And then you do macros kind of trading. It's just how it works for me. So, yeah. You said in a post that you will gain another times 6. Is this with spot or with leverage? I don't think I said I will. I might have said I hope, but you don't have to have. You don't have to have leverage to kind of gain times 5, times 6 portfolio increases in crypto. I mean, that's what Bitcoin has done this year. Where do you think there will be a correction? For me, like, for Bitcoin, and I've explained this earlier, I think, like, you start losing this, you get a correction. And I've been saying this the same thing over and over and over again. You start losing supports, I think there's going to be a correction, and then you can even do this, right? So you have this kind of area here of interest, you lose it, you get back above it. Ignore this, ignore what I've said. It's probably going to just keep going higher, right? So how you play these things is you kind of hedge or de-risk a little bit once you see trouble coming, and then if it doesn't materialize immediately, you get out of that and you enjoy it going up again. So yeah, but yeah, sorry for the shoddy internet, guys. Nothing I can do about it. Not gonna be for long anymore. And I just hope, like, the net here in Germany is actually, like, the internet is actually pretty bad everywhere, basically. Like, Germany has really bad internet. Don is too smart, so got cut. I mean, I didn't get cut. I could have made more money. That's a big difference. But yeah, I could have definitely made more money. Or do you mean on the internet side of things? If that, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Do you think altcoins will make all-time high or big performance against USD2 or just Bitcoin? I think like if they do well against Bitcoin, they're gonna do well against USD as well. So yeah. Don, can you explain what's the point on having two accounts, one for short and one for long? I don't really see why you would want to do that. So I don't think I've said that before. It doesn't really ring any bells. I don't really see a good reason to do that. So yeah, that's that. Let's start going back to the charts because we've been sidetracked for too long. EOS, I mean, I've been saying this is crap for ages. It looks like crap still. TRX, same deal. I don't even need to look at these charts to know how they look like. Like the ones that I'm interested in are Litecoin. I still think this is one of the strongest ones. So I think it's going to do really well once altcoins do well. Bitcoin Cash, just based on the fact that I think the narrative of what is the real Bitcoin is going to come up again. And I think Bitcoin Cash is pretty much the Bitcoin to hold besides Bitcoin. So I'm going to be looking to buy that just to play that narrative. I mean, Bitcoin's Bitcoin for me, not Bitcoin Cash, but I can kind of see that narrative coming. So I'm going to play it. So yeah, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. ETH's been really strong. So those three. And one of the ones that I really don't like, but I think is going to be strong too, is ADA. This is just massive strength in comparison to everything else. Yeah, it looks really, really bad here. But it's pretty much in the same situation as ETH. It's been flat against Bitcoin in one of the biggest rallies Bitcoin's put up yet. So I like ADA as well. So if I would have to rank it, ETH strongest, Litecoin second, Bitcoin Cash a little bit weaker than ADA, but like those are the ones that I'm most interested in. What about Monero? I don't like I feel like crypto is kind of losing the privacy, whatever narrative. I don't think that's going to be around. Like, it's going to be around, obviously, but I don't think that's going to make it through. So, like, I'm going to trade Monero if I get a trade, but it's basically it. So, yeah. So those are kind of my, like the ones that interest me most. The ones that I really don't want to have is Link, just based on the fact how weak it's been. I think there's going to be more pain. So this just doesn't make much sense to me. Even if this bottoms out, I probably think, I think that's going to just be weaker than a lot of other things. So it's not for me. And then Dogecoin, I mean, this is just the best this is the best look at what altcoins in general are going to go through, because they're sitting at their last support and they're trying to hold up, but it's not going to be enough, in my opinion. I mean, it might be enough, but it just doesn't look like it. And I think Dogecoin is going to do what all the other altcoins have done, which is just dump through the last support and then look abysmal and then maybe put in a bounce. Trading Future asks, can you have a look on DOT 5 times? I mean, if you ask me once, maybe. If you ask me 5 times, it gets more and more unlikely. Doge looks flat and dumpy to me, at least. That's kind of my feeling too. It just doesn't look good. Could be wrong, could go up. If it does go up, I'm going to be interested in here. That's where I think the Doge action comes in. I don't like this. Like, I mean, yes, we might be doing the same thing that we've done in the past. But, I mean, I was aggressive in here and bought it. I'm not going to be aggressive on it's the 4th test, basically, of the support now. So I'm not the biggest fan. Thoughts on Tether being treated as a security in the US? I don't think that makes any sense. There's a lot of other agencies that should come before the SEC goes after Tether. Just doesn't make any sense to me. Where should friends and family enter into crypto? I mean, I can't give advice in that kind of like. What you're basically asking me is, you look at this run, Bitcoin's gone up. I mean, even let's say you include this, Bitcoin has gone up a massive amount. It's times 3 basically in the last 100 days without any pullback, right? So like if I'm saying, yeah, buy here, it's fine. Like if you want to invest, I mean, I think that's probably the play. That's something that I've always maintained. If you want to have an investment kind of stack, just buy it at whatever price, because why would you not? You want to have this, right? And if you want to invest, any price is a good price if you think that it's going to go higher. If you're going to trade, it's a little bit different. And yeah, I find it a little bit aggressive to buy into this kind of rally. That said, if the infinite bid doesn't disappear, and like something that could happen is that we put in a blow off top to 50K and then pull back to 28K. And I mean, that's possible. So like at these kind of prices, in price discovery, you're going to see a lot of people kind of claim that they know where this is going to go. I say they're full of shit. No one knows where this is going to go. You can kind of assume that it's going to go to like 30K, 50K, but you don't know. Like this is impossible to guess. So if you want to invest and you think it's going to go higher, I mean, invest. And if you don't, if you want to trade this, I'm looking for supports to, or like for it to look really nasty before I get aggressive on this. So, did you find a solution about the tax situation in 2021 for Germany? Not really, no. Not yet anyway. But like I said, I've been dealing with some real life stuff, so not been pursuing it as much as I usually would. What could happen for you to sell your Bitcoin into Tether? In general, you don't want to see supports get lost. Like I say, this goes back down here, I'm going to be more than defensive. If that doesn't happen, I'm not going to be. That's kind of what I'm saying. And then, I mean, something that you have to live with in these kind of circumstances is that there's a good chance that it breaks through here and then gets back above it and then actually goes back up. I mean, that is a possibility. And it's something that you have to live with if you want to kind of secure yourself from downside risk. So, yeah. People invest and then check every day as a trader. Yeah, it's kind of how it goes, right? So, I think I mean, we've gone through most of these. Like, I could go through all of these charts and tell you I told you so, because I mean I have, but it doesn't really make much sense, right? So like my grand thesis for altcoin that you keep getting that keeps getting repeated on Twitter. I think the reason why these people are wrong all the time is because they're kind of ignoring where Bitcoin is. Bitcoin. I'm going to be bullish altcoins because if you're bullish altcoins, you're basically shorting Bitcoin. And shorting Bitcoin into a rally like this is pretty hard to do. My grand thesis, and then it cut out. Oh man, this sucks. This sucks. Dude, this is so dumb. Okay, I've changed it. I'm sick of this. I should work better now. I think my microphone just died on top of my internet being bad. Technical sound. Yeah, I'm sorry for this. This blows, but I just connected another one. It should be fine now. Yeah. So my grand thesis for altcoins is that they're not gonna do well when Bitcoin is doing too well, just based on the fact that Bitcoin's more attractive at that point, right? It's like you have this guy walking through a jungle, which is Bitcoin, with the machete, and he's just hacking away, just walking through it. And then you have these children running behind him, which are altcoins, not doing as well as he is. And then once he starts kind of taking a rest, the children come out and play. And that's kind of how you can imagine it, because there's really no reason to kind of expect these children to run in front of the guy and then just start hacking away, because that's not going to happen. Because stream stay strong. Yeah, today's been a day. So it's kind of like, I mean, that can happen, right? You might have a child that grabs the machete and then just hacks away, but it's not going to last while the market isn't really, like, while the terrain in that analogy isn't really fitting. So, yeah. Are we the machete or the children? I mean, we're just the onlookers, basically, betting on what is going to happen. We're just these gods in the sky putting money on the outcome. We had a sheep. I'm down with that as well. But yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. Not going to happen again. I'm sick of this microphone and I'm sick of the internet. But yeah, I think it's fixed now, so it should be good. Institutional inflow is a huge difference this time around, it seems. Yeah, it's kind of what it is. Bitcoin has been, like, if you trade this technically, people are going to claim I called the breakdown again. But if you kind of chart this technically and you kind of do it traditionally, you get rolled over just by these kind of spot bids that keep on screwing you over. So if you're not kind of monitoring the institutional side of things, if you want to be bearish in a bull trend and you're not doing that, you're in danger. So yeah. So that's kind of my view on things. I don't really have. Oh, someone asked for dot. I'll chart it for you. I don't have a strong view. Other than that, right? I don't know if Bitcoin's going to go to 30, 40, 50K. Because predicting that is a pretty tall order, right? It's much easier to just react to what's going to happen and then go from there, because in price discovery anything can happen. With regards to DOT, this is a pretty strong reclaim. You want to see that hold against Bitcoin, and then you're good to go. I think DOT's a pretty good bet in general. It's just the question of when is Bitcoin calming down, because there's a good chance, like if Bitcoin goes to 30K tonight, that this is just going to break support. But so far, so good. NSA is trolling Dawn, so we don't get secret duck tips and tricks. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this one. Kind of feel bad for it, because even people that are gonna watch it on YouTube are gonna get issues, I think. But yeah, I don't mind this at all, chart wise. High time frame chart, there's not really much there. This still looks pretty shitty on high time frames. Like you could argue that this is just a bearish retest, and that's kind of the problem with these altcoins. Is yeah, they might be looking like they might squeeze a little, but they're still running into high time frame resistance, and that's kind of where this is getting rejected from. And I mean, like the high time frame charts don't look too pretty, and I mean it makes sense, right? Keeping up with Bitcoin when it goes on a tear like this is pretty much impossible. Personally, when it cuts, I imagine you sing and it's fine. That's basically how it goes. Yeah, I feel really bad about this. Is it just me or does Bitcoin look very unhealthy in the log chart? Doesn't it shout for a retracement in your opinion? The thing with this, right, is yeah, it does look unhealthy. If this was like a derivatives kind of trading charge where people just long the shit out of it and push prices up, I'd agree. The thing is, like, this isn't led by margin platforms. This is led by Coinbase, like by people actually buying. So yeah, there's a problem. Like this is not a healthy rise, right? But the thing is, like if there's institutional FOMO coming in, and if they're just buying and buying and buying, vertically accumulating this thing because they can't get enough of it. I mean, yeah, you could expect the price drop at some point to shake out the derivatives. But I mean, if there's just infinite spot buys, I mean, that's not going to matter, right? So I think that's been the story for this entire rally. I've noted on this fact that it seems undumpable at 10K, right? Like, I mean, I was bearish here. I was bearish at 12K into 10K. I was like, this is going to correct 40%. And I mean, it corrected 20. And then you had Michael Saylor just buy everything up, right? And he bought so much that he literally put in the bottom on this thing. And then you had other institutions come in and FOMO in on this entire rally, providing a floor where price cannot go under, right? So even if you want, like if you're a player on the derivatives platform and you want to shake out some people that are just aping in, you can't because you cannot push price below these spot buys, right? So you have a spot buy here, you could theoretically shake out people, but this spot buy is just going to continue to hold, and then people that arbitrage are just going to eat everything, like the entire dump on the derivative side, and then it just goes up, right? So yes, this looks a little bit unhealthy, but I mean, it doesn't have to be because it's a spot-led rally, right? It's just normal. Like I mean, it's buying. It's pretty much. I mean, best way to describe this is vertical accumulation, and then the people that are doing it have so much money that they don't really care, and just knowing that makes it really, really hard to be bearish. And I mean, that's why I've just been chilling. I don't really see a reason to trade this on the short side. I don't really see a reason to believe that that's going to be stopping anytime soon, just based on the fact that, I mean, it's not stopped. So the moment you start seeing the infinite bid start going away, right? The moment you start to see one big red candle on this weekly chart, it's probably the top, or at least the midterm top, right? Let's say you go to anywhere up here and then you see a red candle that just goes straight down here. Then, I mean, there's a good chance that there's going to be some follow through. But until that happens, it's a little bit aggressive to assume as much. How long can this last? Until the people that are doing it are running out of money. And I have no idea when that's going to be. I'd be a little bit more careful around New Year's, after New Year's, in general. But I have no idea. Thanks, Don, and how to figure out if this is caused by margin longs or spot buys. The way you can kind of figure this out is for just one, watching the books, watching Coinbase, watching the premiums. And I mean, I don't want to share too much because I mean, that's going to cost me and other people the edge. But I mean, everyone already talks about it. It's basically, you look at, okay, how much are the derivatives trading above or below Coinbase or whatever exchange is pushing, and then you can obviously still look at those books too, like at the Coinbase books, see what's up there. There's multiple kind of ways, but when you see Coinbase $100 above BitMEX or above Deribit or above Bybit, then you know that there's actually, like, the people are buying on spot, not necessarily somewhere else. I watched it later on record, thanks, Don. Yeah, like I said, sorry for the technical issues. I wish it were different. New Year dump because of taxes? No, that's not what I'm saying. I think, like, next year we're gonna have to see, like, if the grayscale buying continues or not. That's gonna be the interesting part. Does it mean the large red candle has to come from institutional sellers exiting? No, it doesn't. It just means that there's, I mean, at some point, no matter the price, right? People are gonna stop. Like, either they're gonna be fully allocated, or you're gonna just see a washout in general. Like, no chart just goes up forever. Like, I mean, this looks like it's gonna, but I mean, like, nothing just goes up in a straight line forever. At some point, you're just gonna get buyers exhausted, and then you see sellers step back in to kind of try to make a profit, right? The question in this case is, how long is that gonna be? Given the fact that this buying has come outside of crypto, that it's just new buying coming into the market, it's a little bit difficult to judge. So, yeah. I've had to sell spot to my tax in UK. I think in general that there's buying around these times, but there's also just people selling during times like these, during, like, going into tax season. It makes a lot of sense, right? Like, let's say you make a lot of money in this market, and in this year, for example, right? And you had a few sells, you've made, like, you've realized a bit of profit on the way up, and now you're like, okay, it's at 28,000, right? And my taxes are gonna be huge. I want to realize some to be able to pay for it, because the worst thing, and this is something that has happened in the past, I mean, we've written in the newsletter about it, so if you want to, like, read that, it's a well-written piece. But in general, like, a lot of people that I know, a lot of my friends made a shitload of money during 2017. Like, I mean, if you just look at the Bitcoin price, basically went from 1K all the way to 20K. So you 20x'd, right? If you just sat at Bitcoin the entire time. And then all coins went off. So you had this price rally, 20x, and then all coins went off in end of December. So maybe you made like a 50x in general. A lot of people did. I did even more than that, but just based on the fact that I went completely degen after, like, I took the rally with me and then went all in all coins and took a lot of money there. But what happened is Bitcoin fell, and then you had the top of the all coins come in around January already, and then you had, like, a really bad year after, and all the people that just were all in Bitcoin, they made a shitload of money during 17, and then they lost a shitload of money during 18, and then they had to pay the taxes on 17 in 18 when Bitcoin was trading at a third of the price. And then you can imagine, like, if you're living in a country that, like, where you have to pay a lot of taxes, right? So, for example, in Germany, where you pay 40, 45-ish% taxes. I mean, I got really lucky selling where I did, because if I didn't sell, if I just held Bitcoin, would have had to pay taxes, would have had to sell all my Bitcoin to kind of cover those taxes. And that is not something that you want to do. So, gotta be a little bit cautious around these new years. best kind of way to go about it, in my opinion, is just take the money that you would have to pay for taxes out of the market if you're pretty much all in, right? If this is just 5% of your entire portfolio, it doesn't really matter, right? But in general, you get what I'm saying. So I hope that makes sense. Like I said, sorry for all the issues today. Not gonna happen again. At least the microphone issues are not gonna happen again. And yeah, thanks for coming by. Wish you all a happy new year. I hope you guys get to celebrate it, because yeah, some countries can't, some countries do. Like, yeah, it's a mess out there. But yeah, I hope you're having a good time. And we'll see each other in the new year, and maybe on Twitter. Actually, yeah, I was like, what day is it today? But yeah, we'll see each other in the new year. So yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it. Thanks for Bybit for sponsoring the show. Really appreciate that as well. Their links are in the description. If you want to check them out, check them out. They've been awesome to work with. Same as you guys. It's been a pleasure. Kind of distract me from everything else that's going on. Appreciate the distraction and the well wishes. So yeah, thanks for coming by. Appreciate all of you, and see you in the next year. Bye bye.